The podcast you are about to listen to contains at least one of the following: strong language, disturbing topics, abusive opinions, generally things that aren't appropriate for little kids or overly sensitive people. So, if any of that stuff's going to get your nose out of joint, this is your chance to turn it off.
Feelings don't matter, so brace yourself tight. He'll lay it down heavy, he'll light up the night. No sugar-coated tales, just cold hard facts. In the realm of opinions, there's no turning back. Listen closer, just walk away. But Aaron had to say it, come what may. Here comes Aaron with the truth untold. No holding back, watch the truth unfold. On the podcast, airways feel the righteous sting. You either take it in or let the silence ring.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of I Had to Say It. So we're going to start out as we do by saying to Iceman, Jason, Mike, Tabby, Javier, Fitz McShane, El Jefe, El Devlin, El Morte, to the guys at the Weather Report, to Billy G, to Walt from the B-Raw Podcast, and to the lovely Kate, the Duchess of New York. Thank you guys for being your continued support. It means a lot to me. It really does. So anyway, this episode is going to come out on May 6th, as in the day after Sinko De Mayo, as in Tuesday. So, as per usual, we've had the usual rigmarole of woke, white, leftist women taking to social media to publish their extremely poorly thought out, hysterical, emotional rants in greater volume than normal since Trump's inauguration. They've been doing it to the shock of no one. But in this particular week with Sinko De Mayo coming up and coming and going by the time this drops, there has been an uptick in a particular flavor of video that I'm going to talk about today because, frankly, it's burning my ass. And that is the liberal white motherfuckers. And it's not all women, but it's primarily women or extremely effeminate men because, frankly, leftism causes low T as far as I can tell. Because it's a bunch of soy-fed-looking cockstains who want to sit in their cars and record themselves ranting, or sit in their houses recording themselves ranting, or sit in their mother's basements recording themselves ranting. And the common thread through all these ranty, cringy, just shrug-inducing videos that I've been seeing is these retarded motherfuckers, their current line is, well, if you voted for Trump, you don't get to celebrate Sinko De Mayo. If you voted for Trump, you don't get to have Mexican food. If you voted for Trump, I better not catch you drinking a margarita. Now, for 30 seconds, putting aside the fact that that is the worst kind of racism in associating anyone that wants to have illegals deported automatically as opposed to all Mexicans, which is literally what they're saying by this. You can't enjoy Latino culture in any way, shape, or form because you voted for Trump because you want to deport illegals. Because in a liberal's mind, an illegal and a Latino are synonymous. They are the exact same thing to these fucking smooth-brained, low-expectation having retards. And I say low expectation because that's really what it is. It's the racism of low expectations. They do it to black people. They do it to Latinos. They do it to literally anybody that's not fucking white. Their white savior complex flares up and they feel the need to dictate terms to the rest of the world, saying how you can or cannot be involved with a certain group or a certain culture because of things you've done if you are a white person. And they don't limit it to white people these days. It's any MAGA person. If you're a MAGA person, I better not see you X, Y, and Z. And I've seen videos of fucking liberals attacking people with Make America Great Again hats that are in Mexican restaurants, and these unhinged leftist retards, attacking people's personal property because they have a problem with what they see. And they somehow feel completely justified in their technically illegal actions of vandalizing other people's properties or assaulting people or acting just like royal cunts because other than their complete detachment from reality, they feel that it's justified in their mind, and obviously everyone's going to be on their side because they're these righteous warriors. And the thing that really sticks out to me about this whole thing is the fact that these retards don't seem to understand, and partly I blame this on the boomers and raising kids with the everybody gets a trophy generation, the tail end of, like, as being on the tail end of Gen X myself, but the millennials who were raised where it's like, well, you're up too many points. We've got to let the other team catch up, and everybody played, so everybody wins. These retarded motherfuckers now don't understand they fucking lost. The leftists lost the election. As the losers, they are not in any position to dictate what anyone gets to fucking do. That's part of being the loser. Your side fucking lost. Losers don't get to dictate terms to the winners. So every single sanctimonious, self-righteous, white liberal motherfucker on the internet, because, the majority of them, really, that's where they live, that's where they breathe, that's where they feel justified and centered, because that's where other whining, puling, weak-spirited, weak-minded, weak-willed motherfuckers will feed into their narcissism and feed into their horse shit. But nobody ever explained to them, you fucking lost. You are a failure as a human being. You are a loser. Losers don't get to tell the winners how to win. Losers get to sit around and sulk in their fucking ineptitude and failure. And if there is any kind of decency in the universe, these motherfuckers will keep losing until they implode and just fucking go away. Because I'm sick of stupid motherfuckers. I'm sick of entitled white people trying to tell me I should feel bad because they can't process shit. I'm sick of the fucking retarded sons of bitches that seem to think, well, since I voted to have secure borders and I want fucking people that are here illegally kicked the fuck out, I can't appreciate other cultures. I must automatically inherently be racist because I want there to be a legal, streamlined process for people to get into this country, so we're not admitting shitty, horrible gang members, violent motherfuckers, rapists, pedophiles, and all the other pieces of shit that seem to just pour in through these unsecured borders, that these motherfuckers seem to think they are somehow righteous or justified in defending these worthless sacks of fucking shit. These people are just so inherently frustrating to me. I mean, they just thrive on this sanctimonious, misplaced horseshit self-righteousness that is just nauseating to anybody with a modicum of common sense. Anybody who's got the fucking brain cells required to walk and chew gum at the same time. And anybody who has the intellectual honesty, because it can't all be chalked up to sheer stupidity. A lot of it, yes. And, upbringing and, like I said, failures of us as parents, failures of our parents that raised the ones that are young enough to not be our kids, or shit, I said that backwards. The ones that are old enough to not be our kids, but, too young to be the next generation. Any of these motherfuckers that were, I guess, it's frustrating to me. People that should fucking know better. Yes, failures of parenting, failures of society that encourage this horse shit. The gentle parenting motherfuckers that raise these loser retards. The fucking, absentee parents who were too busy fucking being out trying to just survive to actually raise decent kids. The kids that were fucking raised up as part of the system because their families were torn apart, and instead of getting raised, they just got older and never learned how to process things like loss or failure or defeat because, oh no, everybody's special. Everybody gets a fucking trophy. Everybody's opinion is valid. And so all these worthless motherfuckers, in some very real way, don't realize they're fucking worthless. They don't realize that the opinions of losers don't fucking matter. And their side lost because their ideas, their concepts, their beliefs are fundamentally fucking flawed, and the vast majority of us got sick of it. So we have these loser cunt rags going out here and saying, oh, well, you don't get to do this, you don't get to have tacos, you don't get to have margaritas. The fucking sheer arrogance of these retarded sons of bitches just makes me fucking sick. I can't, I mean, I honestly, I wish there was a function on my social media that could just, where I could put in parameters like, I don't want to see any more videos from white motherfuckers in cars crying, ranting, screaming, yelling, or any of the other weak coping shit that these retarded fucks go through to try and process and make themselves feel okay. They're little self-soothing, screaming, crying fits that just highlight how fucking utterly worthless they actually are. They're incapable of processing things in an adult manner. There's so many other things that are exponentially worse because of what these fucktards do and say, and they're leading like deliberately to the collapse of society because they are unable to function in said society. They are utterly fucking worthless in terms of practical function, but instead of trying to better themselves, they expect to change the world to accommodate them because somewhere along the line, someone told them that they fucking should, that the world owed them something, that somehow they deserve to have the world made to what makes them happy instead of trying to make themselves what will make the world accept them. And it's fucking ridiculous. I am so sick to death of these worthless fucking sacks of shit who seem to think they are somehow better or more elite or more evolved, where they think their fucking spoiled little tantrums are somehow valid or justified, or they have every right to feel that way because that's what they feel and they're the main fucking character. I mean, I keep coming back to all these trite cliche statements, trying to sum up these fucking retards and trying to do it in such a way that, is understandable and palatable to everybody else. But really, at the end of the day, I'm just doing this to get this shit off my chest. And getting shit off my chest means I'm going to say exactly what I'm thinking. You don't have to like it. You don't have to listen. That's the beautiful thing about this world. You can still turn the fucking thing off, which, well, that's still an option. You should be able to take part of it. And honestly, it'd be one thing if it was just the screaming retards in the car that I had to contend with. But at the same time, you've also got the leftist leadership being literally no fucking better. The failed politicians who have done nothing but be bloated leeches on the ass of society for all this time. You've got hood rats and morons and fucking commies out here trying to lecture the American people, just recycling the same old bullshit that got them to lose the last election in a very significant way. The only places they seem to be able to accomplish anything is in states where they're very loose voting laws, because if you look at the maps, it kind of plays out that way. And they're out here calling for violence, calling for fucking, race division, racial division. We've got fucking, Bernie and AOC still out there stumping, trying to say they're fighting the oligarchy, even though Bernie's made multiple millions of dollars writing books about how capitalism's a bad system and sponging off the entire American population for his entire fucking life. The man never held a real job, but he's still got the nerve to go out there and lecture people about the working class. Then you have AOC, who's just a fucking, she's a mouthpiece. She's an empty, vapid fucking twat that says whatever her handlers tell her to say. And I don't know how people still fucking buy her horse shit. And she's being floated as a contender for the presidency. It's fucking pathetic. And then you have Jasmine Crockett out there talking shit at a commencement ceremony this weekend, talking, again, doing her stereotypical fucking hood rat bullshit where she's out here talking about, oh, well, we know how to use chairs, literally calling for violence. And Ilhan Omar out there talking about how white men are the biggest threat on in the country to live, and they commit the most murders and da-da-da-da. Well, when you're 70% of the population or whatever it is white people are, I forget, it's 60, 70% of the population. Statistically, just by the sheer numbers, you're probably going to be guilty of the most, violent crimes or whatever. But that's not, it's divisive race baiting horse shit. And again, and these are the supposed leaders of these fucking smooth-brained, slack-jawed fucking retards. So there's really no wonder that they do this shit and there's no accountability. And then you've got the jelly-filled fuckmuppet of governor of my state who's out here saying that he's not trying to incite violence. He's just saying the people need to use their voice and they need to be out here protesting. And, the whole Republicans should not know a minute's peace was a call to action for activism, not for violence or any of the other horseshit. Meanwhile, leftist violence is really the most prevalent problem in the country. I mean, if Democrats and left-leaning individuals stopped committing violence, this would be a fucking peaceful utopia for the most part, because, like it or not, conservative-leaning individuals aren't out there committing random acts of violence. School shootings and fucking gang violence are not acts performed by conservative individuals. Just as a general, I mean, there's always exceptions to every rule, but for the most part, it's pretty much guaranteed these days where, like I said, the school shootings are mentally unbalanced leftist trans individuals or, LGBT, LMNOP. I don't like to associate it with the LGBT community because, as I've said multiple times, I don't have a problem with the LGBT people. It's all the extra letters that have been tacked on in the last 10 years that are a problem. Because, again, most of it's horseshit. It's liberals virtue signaling. That's why trans kids are the new hot accessory. They're the new fucking purse dog. And it again, it's infuriating. It's nauseating. And the right's guilty of it to a certain extent too. I mean, seems to be a little more reactive, but the racial division and the race baiting. We got some white lady that was on video dropping N-bombs on a little 5-year-old kid in a park. Now, there was problematic instances. The guy who's confronting her about it in the footage that's circulating on the internet turns out to be like some fucking Middle Eastern, I forget which country. I want to say Pakistani, but I could be wrong. But anyway, he's some creepy imported pedophile who's calling her out for calling this little black kid the N-word. And, it's a 5-year-old. The kid's parents should have been paying better attention to him. But, yeah, she didn't need to react like that. But at the same time, way too many people are rushing to give her money for standing her ground and blah, 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 blah. And she's got to GoFundMe. And the fucking Carmelo Anthony who killed Austin Metcalf by stabbing him in the heart, he's got to GoFundMe. And they both raised about $500,000 so far. Again, all along race lines, racial divides. Although Carmelo Anthony's probably getting a lot more money from guilty liberal white motherfuckers than the chick who dropped the N-bomb is getting from black people that are supporting, the white lady standing up for herself. So, I mean, and I'm just saying, statistically, it's probably ignorant ass white people going like, yeah, you stand up for, you show them, you do. And now, personally, I've never been of the mindset that you should be able to censor anyone or force anyone to not use a certain word or a certain phrase or a certain thing just because you find it offensive. Offense is a you problem. It's not the world's problem. It's not the world's responsibility to tread lightly so you don't get butthurt. And words should not be able to affect you to the degree of like, oh, well, they called me X, Y, and Z, and now my entire day's been ruined, and my fucking life is broken, and my quality of life. I don't understand that mentality. It's weak. It's poorly fucking thought out. It's giving random assholes that realistically should not have any impact in your life way too much control over your life and your day. You can call me literally anything you want. You can do it to my face. You can do it behind my back. At the end of the day, I don't fucking care. My happiness, my joy, my day-to-day values in life are not contingent upon the opinions of other fucking people. It's kind of like I got in an argument with somebody the other day, and they said something to me, and I looked them dead in the face. I said, wow, that would be really hurting and biteful, or really biting and hurtful. Man, I can't even talk anymore. If it was coming out of the mouth of someone who I even remotely fucking respected. But since it's you saying it, fucking move on. And the person who I was having this conversation with didn't know how to react to that at all, because your average dumb motherfucker in this country nowadays can't fathom the idea that nobody gives a shit about their thoughts, their feelings, their opinions, or their beliefs. Because at the end of the day, like I said, the vast majority of us, and I'm guilty of it just as much as everyone else is, suffer from some sort of main character syndrome where we think the world gives a shit about what we feel or what we think or what we believe. The actual circle of people in the world that give a flying fuck about your opinion is much smaller than you might think. It's you, probably your immediate family, but even in some cases, I'm going to say it's not even them. Anyone who's been a parent understands how sometimes you can look at these little motherfuckers that you work and slave and sweat to keep alive and know they don't give a shit about what you have to say about something. Not think, not feel, not suspect, but fucking know that at the end of the day, whatever's come out of your mouth is completely fucking irrelevant to them. They don't fucking care. Now, I'm not trying to minimize a parent's role in a child's life, and I'm not trying to say at some point they're not going to look back and go, wow, mom or dad was really actually worried about me, and they really care about me, and that's why they were doing these things. But I'm saying in the heat of the moment when you're arguing with your teenager or you're fucking trying to explain to your toddler why they can't have fucking ice cream for breakfast, they don't fucking care what you think. And you're naive or arrogant if you think it matters to them, because it really doesn't. All they know is you're not doing what they want, and therefore you are stupid and you are wrong. And the only problem with that is, by and wide, the people on the left, but motherfuckers on the right too, never developed past that. And they never developed the self-awareness to realize that the way they feel about everyone else's opinion in the fucking world is exactly how the rest of the world feels about the shit coming out of their mouth. And I'm saying this without the slightest hint of irony because I am fully aware that that applies to me as well as everybody else. The only thing I take some solace in is knowing that you're voluntarily listening to this insane and incoherent rambling that's coming out of my mouth about the subject. And maybe you actually do value my opinion a little bit. That's why you found your way here. That's why you're listening. That's why you're still listening 20 minutes into me babbling my ass off. Yes, I say some funny things. Yes, I'm mean in a funny way a lot of the time. A lot of people think I'm funny because I'm a really mean motherfucker and they just think I'm kidding. But I'm really not. I genuinely mean the shit that comes out of my mouth in the vast majority of cases. I mean, yes, I make jokes. I have fun. I like to crack jokes. I like to play with people and tease them a little bit. But the best teasing, the best jokes, the best insults, all that stuff, they all have a sliver of truth through the middle of them. That's what makes them hit. That's what makes them pop. That's what makes them work, is that acknowledgement that there is a grain of truth to everything that I say, whether you fucking like it or not. And I'm not going to go out of my way to say anything particularly mean-spirited unless you put me in a position of having to because you got out of line. That's just kind of the nature of the way I do things. I will tease, I will have fun with you, I will play with you, and it will be playful and respectful and within the boundaries of good taste as long as you return the favor. But I guarantee I will be meaner, I will go harder, I will say more hurtful things because at the end of the day, if you put me in a position where I have to go on the offensive, I'm going to go scorched earth. I'm going to say the meanest, most hurtful, most damaging things I can say to you until you are fucking broken because that's just the way I operate. If I have to go on the offensive, I'm going to make sure that you are so damaged you can never fucking recover because I don't want to have to deal with blowback or repercussions. It's the same way I look at getting in a fight. I don't like to fight. I don't enjoy fight. Well, that's not true. Sometimes I do like it. I'll admit that much. I don't partake in violence anymore if I can help it. It's not something to go out and seek. But there's a cathartic release to it. There really is. And I'm not going to be disingenuous enough to say that there's not a part of me that really gets a tickle out of the fact. But if I am put in a position where I have to literally engage in physical violence, if I have to get into a confrontation or into a fight or into a self-defense situation, because I will no longer initiate physical conflicts. I will talk shit until the fucking cows come home. I will say things that will make you want to hit me if you piss me off. And I will not back down, and I will keep sticking my thumb in that fucking open wound until you react. But if I am in a position of defending myself, I'm not going to stop until self-defense is no longer necessary. I'm going to beat you until you are incapable of jeopardizing my health, safety, or well-being any longer, or until I'm incapable of defending myself. There's no half measures. There's no, I drew first blood, I'm going to give you the chance to run away. I'm going to beat you until you lose the capacity to be a threat, whether that's physically or verbally or mentally. I mean, honestly, I think some of the most effective stuff is to try and break somebody mentally and damage them to the point where they don't want to ever fuck with you again. Anyway, that went way off the rails. That was not what I was intending to do. But anyway, the point stands. And that's just the kind of reaction these people are trying to provoke. Sowing all this division and this horseshit to keep us pointed at each other and instead of focusing on them where the problems are actually coming from. So, and that's repetitious out of me. I say it all the time. As long as we're fucking at each other's throats, we can't be at theirs, and that's how they like it. And we keep doing it, and I guess for tonight, that's what I had to say. Thanks for listening to another episode, guys. If you liked what you heard, leave a comment, leave a review, leave a rating. Go to ihadtosayitpodcast.com, sign up for the mailing list, interact with the show. Click the links, sign up for the Patreon, join the Discord, come and interact, be a part of the show. Buy the merch, support your favorite creator, or support me. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Till next time.